Gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, I'm here with the head of Saxon Muay Thai doing big things as usual. Julio Trana, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. You know, Julio, I just watched that class, and I'm tired just watching that class, bro. I can see where, you know, all the success is coming from. You know, since I last spoke to you, you've gone to UFC Abu Dhabi with fighters, and I mean, you've been all over the place. Kind of tell me what you've been up to and what you're working on right now.
Well, unofficially, we've been open, and unofficially, I've been busy, man. I've been fortunate enough to still have some active fighters. You know, even though there's not a lot of shows going on. Obviously, the UFC being one of the bigger promotions that's able to throw some fights on. I got a couple people that have competed. Alan, Arman, Justine Quiche, they all competed, and I got a couple of them that are competing, and also some people in LFA.
Yeah.
So just, you know, been fortunate enough to have some promotions that have asked for some of the fighters that came out of here, and it's kept me busy, and you know, with all that going on, it's been great, man. So
yeah, man. Yeah.
No complaints on my end.
Well, hopefully we get this state open sooner than later, man.
Yeah, seriously.
You brought up Arman. I wanted to ask you about that because that was a wild little story there. I mean, we're talking about Arman Tsarukyan, right?
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
Armenian descent fighter in the UFC. Very talented.
Yeah.
Very talented kid. And
keyword kid, huh? Very young, man. He's like 23 years old.
Yeah, man.
Maybe 24.
Yeah.
You know?
Huge upside there.
Yeah.
You know, kind of go through the scenario of how he ended up fighting, who he fought, because Ottman Azaitar, I believe, was involved in that, and that whole wild, crazy story about a guy, you know, jumping from balcony to balcony. Kind of tell me about your experience with that.
Crazy, man, crazy. You know, word was already kind of out the day before weigh-ins that our guy, why can't I remember his name? He looks like Gastelum. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank, man.
You know what? I totally forgot.
Yeah, and he's good, man. He's an up-and-comer too. But anyways, so we heard from his camp, because his cousins with Azaitar,
Okay.
and they're from the same camp and everything. So word was already kind of out that he was gonna not make weight, which already kind of, you know, puts things in other fighters' ideas, like, man, this guy better make weight or whatnot. So kind of put Arman in not a good state of mind. Then the next day, same thing. And then we start hearing that his cousin got canned for, I don't know, we're like, oh, what's going on? So when we heard that, immediately that news, that Azaitar's opponent, he was like in the lobby, and he's like, man, I ain't got to fight. So like, damn, this guy ain't got to fight. And we're like,
this is happening in Abu Dhabi. I mean, you guys are on the other side of the world. I can't imagine your mindset.
And it's all, I mean, even though it's a big hotel and it's a great hotel, like this stuff is happening. Like you're hearing words and whispers in the lobby or whatnot. And the guy we ended up fighting, Matt Frivola, he finds out he loses his opponent. So we kind of hear him in the lobby like, man, I can't believe this is happening, whatever. So we're kind of thinking the same thing. Like, man, our guy might not make weight. We got to make sure we do our part. So next thing you know, man, like literally about an hour and a half before we're supposed to step on the scale, our guy's out. He's like, our guy's out. You know, he can't make the medicals, or he didn't clear medicals, or the doctor was supposed to go see him and the doctor couldn't even see him.
Right.
When that happened, immediately, like managers did their thing and they're like, hey, your guy, Matt Frivola, doesn't have an opponent. Things happen within like 2 minutes, man.
Crazy.
Honestly.
That's crazy.
Like my guy, Arman is still like in the bathtub trying to cut weight, mad because he just found out his guy's not fighting anymore. So he's like, fuck this, I don't want to, you know, he was already struggling. So man, within like 2 minutes, and that, you know, his attitude is kind of like, let's make this shit happen. Manager got on the phone, one thing, you know, literally, like I said, man, 2 minutes, get the call back, like, okay, guy's out, his guy was out, you want to fight Matt? Arman, without even thinking, yes, let's do it. He didn't even know who the guy was, to be honest. And then, you know, that's nothing to say about Matt. Matt's a know, pretty well-known fighter now. But, didn't even think twice, said yes. And same thing with Matt, man. Matt said yes, he wanted to fight. I guess he had the same situation. Matt, the guy we ended up fighting, had 3 backouts. Wow. His last 2 backouts were the fight week. So where one guy got COVID and then the other week, like this guy just didn't make weight. So he was hungry to fight, man. So both these guys were like in that situation, man. And it was like,
That's incredible. I mean, how was it kind of coaching Armand through that, you know, whole situation? You know he's 23, like you said, he's a kid.
Man, yeah, he's a kid, but let me, you know, man, just a professional though.
Gotcha,
you know, like I learned this a while ago, man. I've had been fortunate to have like a lot of like young fighters in the beginning, and man, you can get maturity at a very young age. As a fighter, it's not just like, you know, your person maturity, just as a fighter, and he has it. And even though he didn't make weight, you know, I'm not making any excuses or anything. There was just a lot of things up in the air that put him in that bad position. But it was crazy, man. We trained for a southpaw guy. The guy we were fighting was left-handed, a striker, and all that shit went out the window when we ended up fighting Matt, who's a right-handed, you know, unorthodox type of wrestling. Got some grappling in there, but yeah, man, came out with the W. You know, those. Can't complain. But
came out with the dub, man. In a last-minute situation like that, I think that's a feather in your cap, Julio. You've got a lot of other fighters in here, like you said, UFC and LFA. What do you have coming up?
I got a couple of things coming up. We got, you just spoke to Vanessa. Vanessa's coming back after her last fight. She's been wanting to fight.
She's a beast, man.
She is, man. She is. You know, she's had some tough fights the last couple fights. She's fought some great girls. She's great herself, but she's coming in here making improvements, and you know, I think it's gonna show in her next fight. And she's fighting this month. What is it, March 26th or 27th? Gotta look at the calendar. March 26th. Yeah, it's a Friday. She fights March 26th for LFA. We got Tabitha Ritchie, who also trains here. She's also an up-and-comer. Same weight class as Vanessa. Up-and-comer, I'm just saying that, you know, she's young as well. She's like 24, 25 years old. Undefeated, fighting for LFA as well. Justine Quiche is fighting Tracy Cortez, UFC Fight Night, April...
Very nice, man. Very nice.
April 16th, I think. Yeah, April 16th, and then a couple other ones that I don't want to say just because there's nothing signed yet. But man, there's like 3 other. You know, Danielle Taylor probably has a fight. Kyle Estrada, Georgie Garcia is supposed to have Georgie Garcia is supposed to have 3 fights in the last 4 months, man. So I don't know what's going on.
Oh
but
man,
all these guys and girls have fights coming up.
Where's Georgie supposed to be fighting next? Can you reveal that?
So there's 2 different. So he's signed to M1.
Yeah.
But with everything kind of going on, they've been everyone's been lenient with their contracts.
Right.
There's been a lot of talks with LFA, man. Like talks for title fights, main events. And guys keep backing out, man. I'll say normally I don't like. I'm not talking shit, but guys keep backing out. They don't want to fight Georgie.
Georgie's an animal, bro. I don't know. For me, I mean, just to interject, I mean, I feel like he's a UFC level guy.
Yeah, he's without a doubt a UFC level guy. Yeah. And I say that with confidence. You know, I know, like, you know, you have to show lights when the lights, camera, action hit. And I feel like he's done that. He had his last fight, man. Again, I feel like I'm justifying these last fights, but they were all, you know, Vanessa ready to go to the UFC. She loses her last fight. Georgie Garcia, same thing, you know.
Yeah.
Well, people got to go watch that fight, by the way. Georgie Garcia, M1. It happened 2019 in Russia. We got screwed. Over, man.
I heard. Yeah, I heard some bad things.
It was bad, man. It was bad, but it is what it is. But you know, we're just waiting for Georgie to get another opportunity, and he's ready, man. He's been training hard for a year and a half.
For sure.
Yeah, I think once he gets that fight, I think he gets the call. So.
And I've seen him in person beat UFC talent, or former UFC talent. So I would love to see him fight again. We've also got Brian Del Rosario right behind you.
Yeah.
In the picture, another excellent fighter, man.
Yeah.
Any news for him?
Man, he's another one, man. You know, things come up and then they fall off. Yeah. And with Brian, it's been unfortunate, man. He has to always take these last minute fights.
Right.
You know, like it'd be nice for Brian to get like a full camp for some of these.
Yeah.
But it's always like, you know, I don't know what it is. They'll look him up and he's too tall for the weight. I don't know. He looks big, whatever. But yeah. Nothing for Brian yet.
Right. Tough times during this pandemic, man. I mean, especially the local promotions, the regional ones like ourselves. We can't do anything right now without an audience. It's just too tough. One thing I wanted to mention, I saw someone who was working with the little monster today. Your son, man, out here coaching, and obviously learning the trade from you, man. How does that make you feel? I mean, your son looks good out there.
Man, thank you, man. I love hearing that, man. Honestly, you know, I used to take that for granted, to be honest with you, but now I love it, man. I know what I have here. You know, you came in here, you saw. Who did you see? My mom, my dad, my son. My wife had just left. You know, so I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed to have my son here, and then at the same time, like, he's now in the age where he understands. You know, like, he understands what his dad does. You know, in the beginning, he'd come in and be like, why are all these people listening to you? You know, like, what's going on? But now he sees it, you know, like, I'm here, I'm a teacher.
Yeah,
he goes to school and I explain it to him. I'm like, hey, man, I'm here and I'm a teacher just like you have a teacher. You go to school and you're there to learn something from your teacher. They're going to teach you something. And now I think the understanding of that makes him kind of want to be like, man, I want that, you know, and he likes it. And he's been doing it long enough to the point where he's comfortable training with anybody, you know, especially his size. You know, the girls are about his size, height-wise and everything. And now that he's kind of mixing it up and everything, he's getting a feel for it, and it's great, man. I feel like everyone here also embraces him, you know, because I was him once upon a time too. You know, where I was 13, 14, taking the adult class, and you can get passed by. You're like, I don't want to work with a kid. I don't want to. But not here, man. You know, you just saw it. You said it.
Yeah, man. No,
Vanessa working with him, and I've had Georgie. They trained together.
You know, for a pro fighter to be working with a kid and to be okay with it means, I mean, I can tell from looking at him, the kid really knows what he's doing. So.
Yeah, he's a great partner. You know, he's a great partner. But also, I got to give credit to my people. You know, my people. Like I got great students, man. I got great students, friends. Like.
Well, you're doing something right. I mean, look, we're talking about, I mean, not just because I'm here. I mean, UFC fighters, LFA fighters. I mean, you name it. You guys, M1. You guys are all over the place. I mean, you guys have reached basically the pinnacle of what a Muay Thai academy is. And I'll be honest with you, listening to you coach, man, shit, if you told me to jump off a cliff, I might listen to you, man. You command respect out there, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I love that. Is your son going to compete?
He was supposed to. He was supposed to.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you remember, but before this whole thing happened, I'm gonna remind you again. I was the one promoting that kids show.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I was doing the Cali.
And your
Kids.
son was gonna be
Yeah,
on.
my son was gonna fight. Man, you don't even want to know
That's
how.
nerve-wracking, bro.
It wasn't, man. Honestly,
It wasn't?
It wasn't. No. And you know what's crazy? My wife wasn't feeling this. My wife was like, "That's great. I can't wait." She invited her mom. Yeah. My son, man, so much frustration. But dude, he sold like 250 tickets. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. Just alone, just with him. Like, it was gonna be nice.
Well, if he ever wants to kickbox, call Uncle George. He'll take care of. Julio, man, what an absolute beautiful gym you have here, man.
Thank you, man.
And what a pleasure it is to have worked with you in the past and with your fighters, and to see where you guys are going, man. It's really impressive. Where can people come out and learn from the best in
Man,
Muay Thai?
and I'm gonna say this, man, because I respect everybody. And honestly, if you want to travel, you can most definitely come here. You know, I'm located in Lake Balboa in Van Nuys, Saxon Muay Thai. But especially now with now times, man, and I mean this sincerely, train wherever you want and find somewhere to train. Wherever you live, there's gyms everywhere, you know. But this is the time that I encourage everybody, not just for your health, you know, but the self-defense aspect of it, and just having structure in your life, man. Everything that you were kind of talking to me about is something that I try to teach here, you know. Like my goal is always to also have not just great fighters, but great people, man. And sometimes you can't get that at work, you can't get that at home, and you get it, you know, with a group of strangers like this, where you're just kind of working together. So you can find me here at Saxon's, but I think everybody needs to find a gym in their area and get some training in, whether it's Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, wrestling, but some sort of martial arts. It's a plus if it's kickboxing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a plus if it's kickboxing, but definitely I encourage everybody to get some training in.